God has already worked it out in the spiritual. And I think a lot of times when it comes to our circumstances, we give up so easily because we don't want to be patient and wait for God. What's up, guys, and welcome back for another video. In today's video, as you guys can tell by the title, I'm going to be chit-chatting with you guys about a couple of things. So with that being said, let's go right ahead and get started. Alright guys, so I know it's probably been going on 2 weeks now since I last posted a video, and honestly there's not a good enough excuse in the world that I can give you guys as to why, other than I just have not been vlogging, or rather recording videos. But I did kind of wanted to get on here and just chat with you guys about a couple of things that has been on my heart to discuss with you guys. So yeah, let's go right ahead and get into it. Alright guys, so I did write down what I wanted to talk to you guys about, and I honestly think I only need to discuss 2 things with you guys. So first, I wanted to kind of update you guys with my spiritual journey. I did mention to you guys briefly in one of my vlogs a couple of months back. I'll have that vlog linked down below, but I did share with you guys how God had revealed to me a couple of things about myself that I needed to work on, and I kind of just wanted to update you guys with that and where I'm at now from, you know, my last video of me discussing my spiritual journey. I did decided to give my life to Christ back in 2021. Well, I decided to start my spiritual journey back in 2021, and for me, my spiritual journey is just all about me intentionally having a relationship with God. So that's pretty much what I've been doing as far as my spiritual journey is concerned. But I did decide to start my spiritual journey back in 2021, but I didn't start taking it serious until 2023. And this year is a testament within itself because I have experienced so much in just a couple of months. People do not talk about the mental, spiritual, and emotional struggle that you go through when you decide to give your life to Christ. Like, one thing I love to say is that God builds character and the devil builds ego, because listen, God is going to sit you down and tell you about yourself. He's literally going to reveal so many things about yourself that you're not even going to believe it. And I think that's where God has me now. God has me in a waiting season, and he also has me in a building season. Like I know for a fact that God is building my character so that I don't go back to the place that I was before I started my walk with God. And he's definitely taking your girl through a lot. Like, these last few days has definitely been a test, y'all, a freaking test. Just throughout this entire journey, these last couple of weeks, I have just been feeling the most spiritual warfare. Like, I just been feeling like I've been getting attacked left and right. Every day I either have a weird nightmare, or when I wake up I just feel so out of place. Like, I don't feel like myself. And I know for a fact that that's not me. It was definitely the enemy attacking me, because I have been doing so good on my spiritual journey, not listening to secular music, not losing hope. Y'all know when you just doing so good and then just out of nowhere you just got getting attack. Yeah, so that's pretty much what I have been going through these last couple of weeks. And I've definitely been in my Bible and praying and journaling more, talking to God. But because I have been asking God for a couple of things. I have been asking God for clarity, understanding, and just what it is that he wants me to do. You know, what is my purpose? Because for the last few years, you know, after I realized that I did not want to be a nurse, and just a whole bunch of other things transpired during the last few years, I realized, you know, where is I haven't found my place in the world. And I just haven't, I had just been asking God, you know, what is it that you want me to do? I'm confused, you know. And I also have been asking God for a couple of things, material things and whatnot. Just actually recently did a 3-day water fast, and that was also another fast that God told me to do. So the 3-day fast was successful, but it was definitely a struggle, y'all. I went, it was 3 days. I couldn't drink, I can only drink water, and I couldn't eat or nothing like that. And the first day was a breeze. I had already been eating on the lighter side, so not eating anything at all really wasn't a big deal for me, because I pretty much fast pretty much half the day. I only eat either I eat breakfast, I skip lunch and then eat dinner, or I'll skip breakfast, eat lunch and then eat dinner, or I only eat one time a day, if that. So the first day went pretty good, and then the next day it hit me like, y'all, I was so freaking hungry, and I was being tempted left and right, because y'all know I'm a stay-at-home mom and I have kids, so I have to prepare their food. So I was just being tempted left and right, like everything looked good, smelled good. I'm like, dang, I want this, I want that, but of course I didn't allow temptation to take over me, so I was able to mask those temptations, and I got through it. I completed my 3-day fast, and listen, I prayed, y'all. I'm probably all over the place, but it is what it is, y'all. But after I got off the 3-day fast, before I got off the 3-day fast, on the third day, I told God, I said, God, listen, when you're I said, God, when 12 o'clock hit, your daughter finna have her first meal, okay? I'm not waiting till I wake up the next day to eat. I'm finna eat at 12 o'clock exact. And that's what I did. On the last day of my fast, I literally was clocking the time. I think I started watching the time around 6 something. I'm like 5, 6 something. And ironically, on my last day of my fast, I was keeping myself busy because I had to do all the kids' hair that day. So I was able to keep myself busy. The time went by pretty quick. But once I was done, it was like 6 something. I was like, okay, I got 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I got about 6 hours. So I was clocking the time, and then 10 o'clock came, and then 11 something came, and then 12 o'clock came, and I'm like, okay guys, 12 o'clock. But ironically, I didn't have my first meal until probably like maybe 12 or so minutes after 12. So I still had my meal that midnight at the first hour of that night. But yeah, so the 3-day fast, it was hard. But I will say this though, during that 3-day fast, I did get because I know a lot of times people say when they fast, that's when God, if they're like if you're wanting something, like you want a new house, new car, or something like that, usually when after they fast, they'll get what they're asking for. And of course, me being me, I expect the same thing. But I will say this, when on my first fast, I didn't get anything like material wise. I didn't receive anything, but God did reveal some things about myself that I didn't know existed. So yeah, definitely God has definitely been calling me out on a lot of things, and yeah, your girl has been trying to get it together, But during the 3-day fast, I honestly, when I did the 3-day fast, I wasn't expecting anything. I really just wanted God to give me clarity about everything that I had been asking him about previously. Like, one of the things I have been asking God about is like, what do he want me to do? Because I feel like, I just feel like I'm one of those people that I can't just be one thing. Like, I have to have my own thing going for myself. Like, I want to be able to have a life for myself outside of my family, outside of my husband, be able to have something that is all me, that's just for me, not nobody else. Not to sound selfish or anything, and that's one of the reasons why I decided to do my YouTube channel, like start all over and just focus my YouTube channel on lifestyle content, because this is just me, my thing. So I had just been asking God, like, what do you want me to do? Because I feel like I should be doing more, but I'm still like in the same place that I was. And that was one of the things I have been asking God clarity on. And honestly, I feel like a lot of times God already tell me something, but I'm so stubborn that I would rather it come from him directly than from other people, because I noticed that a way that God speaks to me is through other people. Like I'll be on TikTok or I'll be on YouTube, and then randomly a video pops up, and the person in the video will literally answer the question that I had asked God. And I already know it's God talking to me, because this happens multiple times, y'all. Like, every time I would ask God something, I would literally get on YouTube, and then I'll watch a video, and then literally in that video it literally answers the question that I asked God. But I'm so stubborn that I literally still have to be reassured from God himself that this is what he like, that this message was for me, and that is exactly what he wants me to do, or that's what he is telling me, you know. But what I will say is, while I've been on my spiritual journey, a few things that I learned about myself and about God is that, one, God isn't always going to speak to you when you act. Like, God is not always going to speak to you, and that's something that I have to get used to, and that I have to get comfortable with. Because one of the things that God revealed to me when I was on my Daniel fast is that I suffer from abandonment issues. And I hadn't realized that I suffer from abandonment issues because I never thought about it. You know, and it's true, because I do not have a relationship with my mother or my father. And it's been going on like that for years. I want to say it's been like this pretty much since I graduated high school. I pretty much haven't had a relationship with my parents. Like, throughout the years, we'll probably get in contact here and there, but it's not like, as far as like having a functioning and a like genuine and a relationship in general, I don't have that. So God had revealed to me that I suffer from abandonment issues. And the reason why God revealed that to me was because I suffer while I have been on my spiritual journey. When I don't hear from God, or when God don't tell me, like, don't answer me when I ask him something, I start getting worried, I start doubting, and I start questioning him. And one thing God don't like is when you question what he can do for you. And the reason why I do that is because I never had that closeness relation. I never had that relationship with my own dad. I never had like reassurance of safety. I never had that that loving, close relationship that other people have with their fathers. So when it comes to my relationship with God, I tend to have that same insecurity of him not hearing me, him not loving me, or etc., etc. Now, mind you, in my mind, I know that God loves me. I know that God is going to provide, and I know that God is going to keep the promises that he's told me. I know that God is going to give me everything that I've asked for. But still, when you haven't dealt with those issues, certain issues like my abandonment issues, I haven't dealt with it, I'm still going to have that in the back of my mind. I'm still going to be like, is he going to do it? Is he going to, So, God revealed that to me so that I can work on that. I can acknowledge the fact that I have abandonment issues, and I can work on fixing that. And, another thing that God also revealed to me is that, I am very impatient. And honestly, I don't think God even needed to reveal that to me. I already know that about myself. I don't want to say, I've grown over the years when it comes to my impatience, but I am very impatient. And I think it's just mainly due to me not getting things that I've asked for in the past. And when it comes to like asking God for things, I'm expecting it to happen like this, because I had suffered from so much disappointment back in the, back growing up, that when I don't get it like within the time frame in my own mind, I'm like, hello God, like, when is it gonna happen? So it's a struggle, but I've definitely gotten a lot better, because God has set me down and told me, like, look, like, you're not gonna get what you want when you want to get it, so you might as well just suck it up, stop worrying, and just wait on me. Like, it's already happened. Like, literally everything I'm asking for is already happened. It's already happened. It's just a matter of making it come into the physical, but in the spiritual, it's already happened. But I have to believe it in order for it to come into the spiritual. Come into my physical world. So that's something that God has also revealed to me, my impatience. And another thing that God has shown me, revealed to me, is that I have discipline. I suffer from lack of discipline. And I already knew that about myself too, but if God don't reassure you of certain things, you would pretty much get comfortable with the way that you're doing things, and you wouldn't work on changing those things. And it's crazy, because as I'm talking to you guys about these things, I'm like, whoa, like, God really be working through me, because a lot of times God would tell me something and I'll take it, but I don't actually like sit on it and be like, okay, I need to do this, I need to do that. I'd be like, okay, yeah, I know, I'm gonna do it. But like, as I'm talking to you guys, I'm just like, dang, like, God really like you know. So your girl is I definitely need to start working on my disciplining myself with my time, because I'm always complaining about not having enough time in the day to do this or do that, but in actuality I have more than enough time. I just don't use the free time I have wisely. And yeah, so my so far my journey has definitely been like I've had highs and I've had lows, and I feel like during the lows is when I've been tested the most, especially my faith, because I have, you know, I feel like during this time I have been operating out of the smallest seed of faith. And I don't want it to be like that, because I feel like God has done so much for me and will continue to do so much for me that I shouldn't have to hold on to that little bit of faith. Like my faith should be this big, like this big, y'all, this big. And that's another thing that I'm working on too, is trusting in the faith that I do have and just strengthening the faith that I do have, because regardless of what we go through in our physical, God has already worked it out in the spiritual. And I think a lot of times when it comes to our circumstances, we give up so easily because we don't want to be patient and wait for God. And most of the time, the reason why God wants us to wait is because He wants to provide something bigger and better than what we're actually asking for. And another reason why God wants us to wait is because He wants to build our character, so that we don't return to that place that put us in that position that we were in. And I realized that when it comes to I realized that while I've been on my spiritual journey, a lot of things that God has been getting me to do is stop my old habits, like my old way of thinking. And it's a struggle, because again, nobody wants to wait this long for something, or nobody wants to have to wait on something that you cannot see. And that's also why we have to walk by faith and not by sight, because the things that we don't see are the things that God wants us to believe in, not the things that we can see. And I think a lot of times when we can't see something, we have a hard time believing in that thing that's unseen, because we're so used to seeing things before it happens. But unfortunately, that is not how God works. And that's something that I'm learning each and every day, is that God doesn't operate by what is in our physical. He literally operates by what's in the spiritual. And that's another thing that I also been noticing about myself, is that I'm learning to look at things from a spiritual standpoint instead of a physical standpoint, because a lot of times a lot of things that we go through or suffer from, it usually have a spiritual aspect in it. And I think like a lot of things that I've dealt with mentally, it always had a spiritual component of it. Like for an example, like a few years ago, I had suffered from a mild form of, well, I don't want to call it mild because it wasn't mild when I was going through it, but I had suffered from postpartum depression. And mind you, I didn't know that I was suffering from postpartum depression because I felt like I didn't have all the symptoms. But I didn't really know anything about postpartum depression because I had never went through that with my 2 previous pregnancies. So naturally, I'm like, I'm not going to go through that, so I don't really need to know what it is because I haven't gone through it. But the when I had that season of postpartum depression, it was that was very, very hard, because I didn't know anything about depression because I've never experienced depression before. And 2, we don't talk about mental health or depression really in the Black community, and it was never brought up in my family, so I didn't know what to do when it came to me going through what I went through. And the reason why I know for a fact that I went through a form of postpartum depression is because one day I would be happy, the next I would be sad, then the next day I'm breaking down crying, then the next day I'm angry, and the next day I'm yelling and screaming at the top of my lungs. Now mind you, I felt like when I was going through that, I felt like I had no control over my body, like no control over my emotions, no control over my mind. I was literally just going through life. Like I felt like I was in a daze. Like I had no control over anything that I went through each of those days. And just thinking about it, it's like, dang, like The devil thought he had me, but Jesus said, you're mine. Because, honey, God brought me right up out of that dark place. And I'm so happy that he did, because ain't no telling what would have happened. Had I stayed in that, ain't no telling what would have happened. But that's another reason why I turned to a law of attraction as well. I don't know if I mentioned this to you guys, but I did practice law of attraction at some point in my life, and I'm not proud of it. And I'll probably do like a separate video talking to you guys about that. But yeah, that's probably why I turned to law of attraction, because I was looking for a way out of my darkness, and I didn't realize that law of attraction pretty much was like, it literally had darkness written all over it. But that's another story for another day. But all in all, basically, all I'm saying is, when it comes to giving your life to Christ, you're going to go through the highs, you're going to go through the lows, you're going to go through so many different emotions. You're going to love God, hate God, not actually hate God, but you're going to be like, oh God, I can't wait. Like, you're going to get impatient with God, not hate God. You're going to get impatient with God. Then you're going to be like, thank you, God. Then you're going to be like, God, you're so good. Like, literally, you're going to go through so many different emotions that God going to be looking down at you like, girl, sit down somewhere. Like, haven't I, like, and now that I say that, this brings me back to Matthew's, when Jesus' disciples kept losing faith, and Jesus was getting so impatient. He like, why you of little faith? And it's just so funny, like, just thinking about that whole chapter, and it's just like funny to think, like, just imagine what God go through when we go through our periods of believing him one minute, then not believing him the next. He's like, sit down, like, you're getting like, sit down. So it's just funny. It's funny how God works. But nonetheless, all in all, I just want you guys to know that if you decide to give your life to Christ, just be prepared for all types of emotions. Be prepared for all types of spiritual warfare. Be prepared to not be prepared. Because if anybody told me that I would go through half the things that I go through, I'd be like, that's not true. Because everybody say when you give your life to God, you experience peace and joy. And true, you do experience those things, but it comes after the storm. Like, you have to go through the storm to get to the peace. And I think a lot of times we want to skip over that part of our life. We want to skip over the challenges. We want to skip over the building, and we want to just get the thing that we want. And that's another thing that God has been trying to show me, is that no matter how much time I try to fight everything that he's trying to put me through, I'm not going to get what I'm asking for unless I face everything that he's telling me to face. And I'm realizing that now, because for so many years I've been like, I've been asking God, I'm like, God, why haven't I gotten this? Why haven't I gotten that? Why do I feel like I'm in the same place as I was last year? And God has been telling me, you're in the same place that you were last year because you're not listening. You're being stubborn, and you're not allowing me to lead you in the way that I need you to go. And I, after constant reminder and constant reassurance, I have decided to just allow God to lead, and just take me where he needs me to go, so that I can reap the benefits of everything that he's sown in my life this far. And I just want you guys to know that when it comes to giving your life to Christ, you have to, at some point, you have to just let it go and let God. Like, literally, let it go and let God. Because there's some things that's out of our control, and no matter how much we try to fight it, no matter how much we try to fix it, it is not made for us to fix. And that's another reason why God allows us to go through everything that we go through, because he wants us to listen to him. He wants us to lean on him. He wants us to trust in him. He wants us to have faith. Because literally, when it comes to God, he doesn't operate on anything else but your faith. And that's something that I'm learning each and every day, is that if I do not have faith, if I don't trust in God fully, nothing in my life is going to work out, because I don't trust God to do what he said he's going to do. And that's why a lot of times when we go through things, we feel like God is not working in our favor, because we're not trusting in God to do what it is that we want him to do. And that's something that I'm learning day by day, night by night, week by week, month by month, is to trust in God. And don't get me wrong, it's very hard to trust in something that you don't see. But at the end of the day, if God placed it on your heart, if he placed it in your mind, if he literally gave you the vision, then it's going to happen. There's nothing that anybody can say or do that's going to take away what God has given you. But until you learn to trust in God fully and not allow yourself to be tempted, he's not going to give you the thing that you want. And even if you decide to go out of the will of God and do what you want, he's going to make a way out of what you did. But it's not going to be easy. Like he gonna make a way out of what you gotten yourself in. But you may find yourself further prolonging the time of when God is going to give you whatever it is that you have been asking God to give you. But you just gotta lean on God. You gotta trust God. You gotta have faith, because there is nothing that you can do that God can't do for you. Like, there's nothing that anybody can do that God can't do better, if that makes sense. But yeah, that's where I'm at, on my journey spiritually. I've just been, just trying to get clarity and make sure that I'm actually doing what God is calling me to do, because your girl can just be all in her head, be all over the place, and just go through the emotions. And y'all, another thing that people don't tell you is that you're gonna cry. You're gonna find yourself crying out of nowhere, because I done cried, like literally I done broke down crying probably like 3 times already, and I'm just like, I don't even know why I'm crying. I knew why I was crying, but I still didn't know why I was crying, if that makes sense. Like, when you like listen to your worship music and just, it's so weird, because I would listen to a worship song and I would listen to it probably the first few times, and I won't feel like affected by it. Like I could feel the lyrics, I could feel the emotion, but I wouldn't cry or anything. I wouldn't like break down. And then it's like I listen to it again. It could be like on a different day, I'll listen to the song again, and it's like a specific lyric just hit me like a brick, and I just start crying. And mind you, I'm trying to mask my tears, mask me crying, because I got kids. I don't even be asking me why I'm crying, because I'm in my zone, And so I'll start wiping my tears away, and I'll be like, okay, I'm okay. And then I'll start crying again, and then I'll wipe my tears again. I'm like, I'm okay. So it's just funny, y'all. It's just funny how God works. Like, God is just a mystery, but a good mystery. But yeah, it's been a journey, y'all. It's been a journey, but it's a good journey, and I'm actually proud of myself for how far I've gotten on my spiritual journey. And I wouldn't take this is probably one of the best decisions I've made, giving my life to Christ and allowing God to lead, because so many good things have happened, y'all. So many good things have happened. And even when I feel like I'm stagnant, or I'm not where I want to be, I still, like, even in the midst of me feeling that way, God still reassures me that, listen, you're literally where you need to be. Like, you're not far ahead, you're not behind, you're where I need you to be. And that's why I said at the beginning, guys, build character and not ego, because a lot of times we get our egos get boost because we get somewhere so fast. But once we reach that place, after a good while, we end up right back where we started, because that's not where God wanted us to be at that time. And that's another thing that I've been trying to understand, is that even though I feel like I should be further ahead, or that I should have this amount of subscribers or this amount of views, the reason why I don't have those views or subscribers just yet is because I still need to work on my discipline. I still need to work on showing up. I still need to work on my faith, strengthening my faith, making sure that I'm giving all I got. Because when you feel like you've reached your breaking point and there's nothing else you can do, that's when God steps in. He like, okay, all right, I hear you, all right, here you go. And that's when God knows that you're ready, because he realized now that you've gone through everything you've gone through, and that now you're ready, because now you're like, that's it, like, here you go, God. Now you're like, I trust you, God, here you go. And that's pretty much where I'm trying to get. I'm trying to get to that point where I'm like, okay, God, I trust you fully, because I do trust God. Don't get me wrong, I trust God, but I still have my moments of doubt, still have my fears, still have worry, and until I stop doing that, nothing that I can do is going to change from where I'm at now. So yeah, it's been a journey, but it's a good journey, and I just thank God for getting me to where I'm at now, because had it not been for God, I don't know where I would be. Like, literally don't know where I would be, but I know I wouldn't be here now talking to you guys about this, my journey. But yeah, so that's pretty much where I'm at on my spiritual journey. This video is probably all over the place, but it is what it is. Like, sometimes when God placed something on your heart, you're not gonna always have the words to put together and make it sound like it makes sense. But that's the beauty of God, is that everything is not gonna be perfect. Like, this video is not gonna be perfect, but for those that needs it, they're gonna understand. And for those that don't understand, then maybe it's just not time for you to get the message that I'm trying to convey. But I hope that this video encourages someone, and if it does, be sure to subscribe, give this video a big thumbs up, and drop a comment and let me know where you guys are spiritually. If you're on a spiritual journey, or if you're living for God, what is something that you find a challenge? Because I feel like my biggest challenge is just leaving everything up to God. Like, that's my biggest challenge, is letting go. I've let go a lot, but I still have my, like, moments of like, I'm trying to figure things out, and all along God is like, Miss Man, going on somewhere. Like, I feel like that's exactly what God be doing. Like, Miss Ma'am, going on somewhere. Like, you're doing too much right now. You're doing too much. But thank you guys for tuning into this video. I did have like some other things. Well, I didn't really have much other things to talk to you guys about. I did wanted to talk about YouTube a little bit, but I feel like I can save that for another day, because this video has already been long. But thank you guys so much for tuning in to this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and if you did, be sure to give it a big thumbs up. If you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe. Get your girl to 500 subscribers, because we're trying to reach 1K by the end of this year. But yeah, guys, I'll see you in my next video. Bye.